Hey guys, my name is Loveless and we are back with Quirk Knife. I took like a whole week off, kinda, but I'm guessing it was needed. I didn't want to burn myself out with this because that's the last thing that I'll do. Because if I go rushing through things and burn myself out, that will make me not want to keep reading and stuff. That's just not good. So took a week off. Now we back to it. Now back to the regular grind. Let's start. Hey, watch where you're swinging that. May dove out of the way, nearly losing an eye against the counter of a nearby workbench she had installed in Izuku's warehouse. Fuck off! This is harder than it looks, Dobby hissed back, struggling to keep up with Izuku as they sparred. The little vigilante rod swung by the man's face and nearly had the chance to block it with his baseball bat. The sound of metal clashing as Izuku still managed to knock him back with his pure strength. It's a bat! A bat can't be that hard to use. Maybe you just suck. May spat in return, giggling at the annoyed glare that she earned. Pay attention, Izuku scolded, a rod coming down hard against the inside of Dobby's knee, causing him to fall. That was way more violent than necessary, Dobby mumbled. Izuku standing over him and looked down. Was it? Maybe dodge next time then. Oi, I'm doing my fucking best. Well, your best is shit. Hitoshi snorted while he bent down to touch his toes. Damn, Izu, what's got your bunny ears all tied up? Izuku sighed heavily and held a hand out to Dobby, pulling him up to his feet. Sorry. Just a little nerved up is all. Dobby sat his baseball bat down and took a seat next to Hitoshi. Why's that? Izuku waved his hands around the air for a moment, mouth opening and closing in thought, until he explained, just the entrance exams are in a week, and I guess it's putting me on edge, okay? May frowned. Why are you nervous? Toshi and I are gonna kill it, no questions asked about that. Izuku didn't respond, and Dobby itched for a cigarette, but forced his mind back onto the kid in front of him. May, I don't think that's the exact problem. Izuku tugged lightly at the end of his hair, which sat below his collarbone, reminding him to learn how to give himself a trim. Come on, you can tell us, Hitoshi said warily, not wanting to set the emotional bomb off again. Hitoshi, Dobby, and May all had their own lessons given to them, where one wrong word can easily cause a whirl of mayhem, something that no one enjoys. Izuku gave his hair one last tug, earning concerned glances from his friends, then sat down and hugged his knees to his chest. I wanted to be a hero so bad, he blurted loudly. That's all I wanted to be when I was a kid. Silence washed over the group, understanding that this was a touchy subject. That's the one thing I could always control, my dream. Now I can't even control that. I can't control anything. There was a pained, breathy laugh that followed. Izuku started to squirm in, well, whatever emotions he was feeling. Dobby ran a hand through his white and black hair. And why can't you still control that? Izuku snorted. Dude, you watched me bite a finger clean off 2 nights ago. I feel that's pretty self-explanatory. But now, I'll never be a hero now. Don't worry, Mom. When I'm a hero, we don't have to worry about Papa. Izuku paused from where she was bolting the fresh lock at the apartment, along with 7 others. Honey, don't call him that anymore. He doesn't deserve that from you. Izuku hummed and continued playing with his All Might figure, his 7-year-old self trying to ignore the fresh burn on his elbow, gifted by Kachan. Kachan could be so mean sometimes, but it's okay. Maybe Kachan thought that's how you make friends. He'd never been good with other people. Mom? Inko looked down again. Yes, baby? Is he going to come back? Inko's eyes lingered on the boy in front of her. Then she checked the clock. Baby, can you bolt the windows for me, please? And he did, of course, because Mom asked politely. Izuku scampered around the house to every single window, standing on his tippy toes to bolt the opening shut, then draw the curtains and shutters. Can't wait until I'm a hero, Izuku told himself, staring at his reflection in the bathroom mirror. Then Mom won't have to be scared anymore. Yeah. Hazashi broke in the following week when Inko and Izuku failed to properly lock the door. Inko was unharmed as usual except for a few scratches and bruises she earned while trying to fight the man off. Izuku cracked 2 ribs, lost 1 baby tooth, and shattered 3 fingers. He couldn't defeat Hazashi. He couldn't be a hero. I can't be a hero. Izuku hadn't noticed the way his breath had picked up, and he felt much too light. That was until Hitoshi grabbed both of his sides of his face tightly, but not painfully. You're okay. You're here. Everything's all good, Izuku, right? Izuku's arms flapped a few times at his side, as if he was trying to swat away the panic. Right. It's okay. It's okay. Hitoshi repeated gently. Why don't we all go for a walk down to the beach? Izuku nodded and stood up with shaky limbs, drawing in slow breaths as he slipped on his new Hello Kitty light-up shoes. He stomped a few times just to watch the white, pink, yellow lights flash, then grabbed some knives, following the other 3 out. They walked in serenity while Hitoshi scrolled through Twitter. May spoke into her recorder while she took some notes for the entrance exams. And Dobby just stuffed his hands into his pockets, glancing over the 3 teens every so often. Izuku bounced up and down absentmindedly as he pulled his hair into a bun, hating when the wind blew his hair into his eyes. Hop, 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 Dobby teased quietly, and Izuku stuck out a tongue but never ceased jumping. Are you two ready for your shitty exams or whatever? Dobby broke the silence. May nodded feverishly right away. Hitoshi twisted his fingers and kept his eyes down. I think. None of that, Dobby said sternly, pushing the boy's shoulder. Have some confidence for once. Hitoshi nodded and swallowed dryly. Right. Yeah, it's just what? Dobby pushed. You're going to get in, kid. It's just, what if I'm not strong enough yet to use my capture weapon? What if I get stuck? What if the robots are too strong to take down? Izuku jumped and watched the flash of his sneakers once more. Then you just have to find the off button. Hitoshi's jaw slacked for a moment, then he whispered, What do you mean? I doubt there's an off button. Yeah, you're right. So probably a switch? The purple-haired teen ran a hand down his face. Izu, this is a prestigious hero academy, run by pro-heroes and one of the most intelligent creatures of our era. And you're telling me you want me to flip a switch? Yes. I don't know why you're not understanding. Izuku, there isn't going to be an off switch. Izuku scrunched his face, the scar running over the bridge of his nose, wrinkling with emotion. Yes, there will. How do you think they turned on? They're going to be controlled by a panel, which an emergency stop button, so just click it. Izuku jumped again. It's probably going to be located by the base of the robot, where it can be easily accessed. Hitoshi didn't argue because, knowing Izuku, he was probably right. Once they arrived at Dagaha, Dobby sat down in the large clear of sand while the 3 young ones began collecting the small items left, tossing them into a large dumpster. Thank you, May's mom. It wasn't until Izuku tossed a moldy lampshade into the dumpster and turned to pick up the next one was he met with a clear bleach. Hitoshi was standing at the edge of the dry sand, his eyes wide as he stared outward to the setting sun. May staggered to join his side with muddy hands. Izuku slowly took his spot between them, purple, green, and pink hair tainted orange by the golden sun. "We did it," May whispered, with her cross-haired pupils blown larger than normal despite looking towards the sun. "It's clean." "It is," Hitoshi added as he tried to wipe away some of the sand from his face. "We make a good fucking team," Izuku mumbled, his eyes scanning the line where the water turned to sky. "We're still a team, right? Even when you guys go to UA?" Hitoshi flicked the side of his face gently. "Of course we are. Don't be stupid. Who else is gonna make sure you don't get bonked while doing your vigilante shit?" "Well, Dobby's with me now." "That goes for Dobby too. The both of you as well." "That goes for Dobby too. The both of you are, well, reckless?" May snorted. "What'd you say?" Dobby shouted as he approached, bringing down a fist lightly on the top of May's head. "I'm not reckless." "Sure," she drawled, "and neither is Izuku." Izuku would have shot back an insult if his brain hadn't stopped working a seconds ago. The sky was memorizing, painted with bright colors as they reflected in his eyes. Chaos may not be a hero, but he can promise to the world its entirety he will protect everyone who needs it. Heroes aren't just those who are famous on television. No, but it's whoever's willing to risk their lives for others. And that's what Izuku. "Izuku!" He spun at the panic in Hitoshi's voice, the boy staring at his phone with wide eyes. Dude!" he shouted. "Dude, you've been dead!" Izuku stood there for a moment looking at Hitoshi's phone, then shrugged. "Hey, that makes things easier." Healing wasn't linear. Healing wasn't linear. Healing wasn't for fuck's sake. "Katsuki Bakugo!" Mitsuki roared the second the ash-blonde boy punched a hole straight through the dining room wall. "What's wrong with you?" All she said was to get in the car for his therapy session. That was all. Katsuki had looked down at his phone for a moment, then the next the device was whipped across the room, shattering the glass of the picture frame into pieces. At first she thought Katsuki was just being angry, but it quickly changed when his face whipped towards her with large tears spilling over the bottom of his lashes. He was silent for a moment, and it made Mitsuki feel uneasy. Then the boy roared again and punched his thigh. He never done that. Katsuki punched himself over and over and over until Mitsuki rushed to his side and latched onto both of his wrists with her own hands, the boy going limp, falling to his knees as sobs ripped from his chest. The sound alone tore through Mitsuki. She tried again. "Kats!" He screamed again, loud and pained and tortured. "Katsuki!" "No!" He sobbed at the top of his lungs. "Mom! Mom! Mom!" "What? I'm right here. What?" "Mom!" Her son screeched. "It was my fault. It's me. He inhaled sharply as his body trembled violently, and all Mitsuki could do was hold him. And it's not like she had a choice. The second she released his wrist, he went back to hitting himself. So Mitsuki latched on and held his hands against her heart. Katsuki would start speaking unintelligibly at random times, but would cut his own sentence off with another sob. Minutes passed and Mitsuki just sat there and held him close, debating whether or not she should bring Katsuki to the hospital every time he randomly stopped breathing. The breathing evened slowly until the sobs stopped completely, and Mitsuki looked down, finding that Katsuki had cried himself to sleep. It was 8 o'clock anyways. He tends to be an early sleeper. Anyhow, even when he was just a little boy. Mitsuki was thankful for all her strength as she picked up her 15-year-old son and brought him to his bedroom, tucking him in with a gentle kiss on his forehead. Katsuki groaned and rolled over, grabbing a loose pillow and pulling it close to his chest. An odd little quip he started doing about a year ago. Mitsuki wondered if it was for comfort or something she should be concerned about. "I love you, baby boy," she whispered into the dim room, closing the door quietly as possible and finally letting her own silent tears fall. Katsuki had a temper. He always had. And sure, he had cried before, especially with the stress of the whole situation along with the entrance exam approaching rapidly, but Mitsuki had never, ever seen anything like this. Never. With curiosity, she padded over to where he threw his phone and carefully toed around the shards of glass, picking up the phone and looking at the now cracked screen. Mitsuki felt a little guilty typing his password, but she would never snoop. She just needed answers. The phone unlocked to an article from a quiet online journal company. The text only had a few views. Under further inspection, Mitsuki then understood why it was so little views. Final missing Quirk child update. Declared deceased. Mitsuki scrolled down further. The case of Izuku Midoriya has been a quiet one, although it's no secret why. After the single casualty of the concrete villain situation, Midoriya Izuku, son of deceased Inko, had gone missing. With Detective Tsukachi Monomas leading the case, it seems this quirkless child disappeared without a trace. The most probable answer is the death of the boy. That information is stripped from statistics of quirkless children committing suicide in Japan. A body has not been located, but it presumes that the body has already decayed based on the time that has passed. Although the child's death is never easy, we can at least be grateful that it was a quirkless. Mitsuki closed the tab immediately and covered her mouth. This article was months ago. Why did no one call? Why is there no more coverage? Simply because Izuku was born without some stupid quirk? Mitsuki placed the phone on the counter and reached for an nearly empty wine bottle, not bothering to pour it into a cup. Instead, taking a small swig from the glass. She already buried Inko, her best friend. How was she supposed to bury someone she thinks is her second son? They didn't even have a body to bury, and Mitsuki couldn't do this again. She couldn't bury another loved one. Mitsuki opened Suki's contact number. That would no doubt be put a large temper on Katsuki's progress, and that wasn't something he would move past easily. "Hello, Suki? Ayo? What can I do for you?" "Hi, Suki, it's Mitsuki Bakugo." There was a pause on the other side of the phone. Then the woman spoke quietly. "Yes, Katsuki's session was supposed to begin 30 minutes ago." Mitsuki took another sip of wine and sighed. He had a bit of, I don't know what to call it. I don't want to overshare. It's something he should probably explain himself. I don't know. I'm not a professional. She chuckled nervously. "Has he told you about Izuku Midoriya?" Suki hummed. "I have to keep in mind the client-therapist confidentiality, but I can share a little. We did some writing exercise that had his name come up a few times. Although he's never outright said it, I know who Izuku Midoriya is, and Katsuki won't tell me." There was a sound of shuffling papers behind the screen, and the therapist continued. "But he has let it slip a few times. Not the name, but the boy. A boy that he didn't seem to like very much. At first, he spoke very angrily about this boy, and I could tell anger was from guilt, based on the letters. I'm inclined to believe that this boy and Izuku Midoriya are the same person." Mitsuki let that soak in for a moment, then remembered why she called. "Yeah, maybe. Anyways, I don't want to say anything that Katsuki wouldn't want me to. So forgive me for all the cryptics. I understand. Right. Well, Katsuki found an article that declared Izuku dead. That's all I'm going to say, and he is very affected. Did he have some sort of breakdown? Oh, that didn't even cover it. Something like that. He broke a few things and shouted and cried, but, he started to hit himself. His legs. Kids tend to do that when they're specifically angry at something they did indirectly. Although, do your best to get him in before his entrance exam. It's dangerous to send him out with such a powerful quirk with his emotions all pent up. Mitsuki nodded, knowing Suki could see it, but it got to the point across. Mitsuki nodded, knowing Suki could see it, but it got the point across. Take care, Miss Bakugo. Yeah. You too. See ya. Bye. A dull tone drawled on as Mitsuki lowered the phone and sat down on the floor. She didn't know how to fix this. She wanted to be a good mother, the best mother, but she didn't know how to handle this, and it hurt a lot. All Mitsuki could do now was support Katsuki with his path of becoming a hero, the one thing he could still bring him joy. She'll support him with all she's got. Dobby, lying awake, fighting the urge to get up and find the nearest corner store for some cigarettes. Stupid kid got upset every time he pulled out a smoke, and it ended up with Izuku 47 minutes lecture on why smoking was bad. Coming from the kid who said they would fucking do crack if they were given the chance. Dobby stared up at the ceiling, his limbs numb against the sleeping bag Izuku had someone gotten for him. Dobby hates children. Really, lavender, bubblegum, and broccoli all suck. He doesn't like them at all. A stifled inhale had Dobby sitting straight up before he could even blink, looking over to where Izuku was practically drowning himself in blankets and random items of clothing like it was some sort of nest. Bunny. Dobby's smile slipped right off his face as the nest seemed to explode somehow, fabric thrown everywhere as Izuku started flailing, his mouth hanging open in a silent scream. Dobby scrambled onto his knees and hovered over Izuku. It probably wasn't a good idea to touch him or anything, right? No, stop, the kid screeched, his eyes still closed as he gripped his right side of his torso. It hurts, please. His bright green eyes snapped open the minute Dobby moved his hand forward. The man nearly earned a quick fist to the nose. Good thing he has fast reflexes now that Izuku was training with him. Izuku! Dobby shouted as the boy sat up. He wasn't breathing. What the fuck is he supposed to do? Oh my god, this kid is gonna suffocate and... Izuku turned to the side and vomited whatever was in his stomach, his back rising and falling rapidly with his choked breaths. Oh my fuck, Dobby finally shouted as Izuku began pulling his hair much harsher than normal, some strands falling to the ground. Dobby fumbled for Izuku's phone and clicked on the only contact he can think of. The dialing felt like hours. What? Aizawa, it's Dobby. Izuku's like freaking the fuck out right now. He was sleeping and now he's vomiting and pulling his hair out. I don't know what to do. The silence was loud, and then Aizawa finally answered. It's probably some type of attack or some sort. Have you ever had one? Yes, Dobby answered far too quickly. Why? Well, what did the others do for you? White hair flashed in Dobby's vision, gray eyes with brown glasses and red streaks, soft hands holding on his own and mumbling comforting words. Right, Dobby mumbled. Okay, I can do that. Yeah, okay. Dobby's had a lot of panic and anxiety attacks, but he'd never actually been on the other end. Yes, you can. Call me if it gets worse and I'll be there. Dobby just hung up and put the phone down. Izuku, it's Dobby. Hi, remember Arson Dude? I haven't smoked in like 2 months? That's good news, right? I feel like shit, but at least I don't wheeze after running for 5 minutes, and my teeth aren't super yellow. We should go have showers tomorrow at the gym. Dobby continued to babble on as Izuku's eyes slowly came into focus, his pupils dilating at random. And this one time, I brought a cat into the house because we didn't want it to be outside in the rain all by itself, but Fumi was able to find a proper home. Keep going, it's working. And he screamed. I scared him so bad. Natsu froze the entire kitchen, and I had to melt it all before Mom got home. But then the carpet caught on fire, and Izuku was watching now, and although his eyes were unmoving, at least they were on him. Dobby gently rubbed Izuku's back as his hand slowly moved from his hair. And the one time they let me bring Shota to the park, I brought home the wrong baby, and I was never allowed to babysit ever again. Izuku didn't speak, but he stood up, gathering the clean blankets against his chest and walking away, dropping them on the opposite side of the warehouse. Had Dobby done something wrong? Oh, great. Now Izuku will never want to see me again, especially since the kid probably knows who he really is now. What? B. Dobby looked up across the room where Izuku is making a grabbing motions with his arms outstretched, his small body deflated in the pile of bright-colored blankets. Dobby hesitantly walked over to Izuku, suddenly tugging him down into the pile, and that was that. Dobby hates kids. Kids suck. Except maybe these kids just suck a little less. Oh my god, I love this. I love it. It's like, maybe, just maybe these kids suck just a little less. It's like, maybe not completely. But I love this like relationship that Dobby and Izuku are having. It's really sweet. But yeah. So that will be it for now. I am back to my grinding of this. I've been doing so much Genshin Impact. It's been ridiculous. I've been like eating, breathing it. When I'm not working, it just does the thing. So whenever I get the chance, I'm like just always playing Genshin Impact. And so it's been putting editing to be non-existent, but now I'm back to it, so it should be good. So we should go back to our normal, regular scheduled program. So it's all good. All right. So if you want to see more of this, you know what to do.